Last comment I replied to, I laughed. I said I feel it, and I do also in this case, but it hurts because it's so familiar, and I'm sorry that that's your experience, and I hope you have, um, found ways to, commiserate, navigate that whole situation because it's really tough when you do the work about caring and including people, and then that work does not um, itself become included in affecting decisions and having an influence on what's to come next. Because honestly, why do it, right? I have been in a variety of circumstances where this was my experience in broad brush, similar, I would imagine, as well. In some cases, it was um, because I have practiced the deep, thoughtful, empathetic, and evidence based work where I have a rationale for every single region and thing I include in a touch point, a visual experience, a physical product, how the firmware works, how, like, this is my approach. And so there are folks who would enjoy just debating that this is fun. You have a lot of stuff to explore and consider, and then ignore, right? I have not won every debate. Um, this was one time I was in a group and asked, um, the group was like, let's have visiting professionals talk to some design school students, and there was a Q&A session that was a lot of that time allotted, and one of the questions the students asked was like, well, why'd you get into this? And in that moment, which I'm sure in design, like in doing field research, you're out there connecting with people, you're used to connecting with those moments and listening to something, an internal voice, a um, instinct combined with evidence thing. And out of my mouth came, I did this to win arguments. I I was frustrated. I started focusing on the human aspect to be better at articulating, understanding, and providing credible perspective on why to do things that were um, considering ergonomics, considering human factors, and considering like how could we design better and communicate better with the people that we serve. And it helped. And I found out I liked it better than coding and all that kind of stuff. So this is where my path went. And so you can be in environments, as you well know and express here very clearly, that you can do the research, you can do the work of including, and then that work can get ignored. And again, I'm sorry that happens because I wrote an article that I don't know if there's an easy way I could throw it in a comment or something like that. Part of like when you see designers post and they post passionately and emphatically about this issue or that issue, and I think a lot of it is like we need an outlet to work through the feelings of this kind of emotional work. It is difficult emotional work potentially, connecting with folks and finding out, where there's deeper needs and concerns that your product could potentially help and that folks willfully ignore and that kind of stuff. And so you're in this situation of being this advocate for the user, the customer, the client, the consumer, whatever that terminology is for you, and um, you're there as a professional advocate to include them, the people who aren't getting paid to be there, right? Um, and it doesn't always work, and it's hard when it does. And so that article talks about, well, I think a lot of us in design, and it's natural to just to want to shout at the sky and all that kind of stuff, and it makes sense. But anyway, I hope, I don't know if this is like, hey, I feel you, fist bump or whatever, but I hope it's more than that, because getting into it and deciding, well, where do you want to apply your services? I didn't stay at that gig where my primary benefit to that organization was to be a professional debater. I moved to different opportunities, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to get to fire up my teaching practice again in interactive design. It's like I'm trying to reach out to folks in a couple different situations, um, that are in where you're in the field, you're doing the stuff at your gig, and you're looking for that bit of extra camaraderie and energy, that you're at this level of practice and you're like, okay, I feel a little more sane, right, hearing this stuff, and a little more energized. And then I'm also trying to, help like a far younger version of me, like level up faster, right, where you're ready to see more interesting, nuanced perspective on the systems that we face dealing with, making products in the mechanisms that we have. You get hired to be at a place to do the stuff, and then this is why I teach the 5 audiences, to include the people who are making it and the people who are funding it, but also the obviously the audience, and that the end user aspect of that, who's there, but also the world around all of you, and you yourself. And that is a different comment that I haven't replied to yet, which is fun, because it's like, if you leave comments on my videos, surprise, I may come back weeks later because I've been thinking about it. Anyway, I don't know. I hope this is interesting, useful, food for thought, and I hope you find where you can be of service, that those skills that you're bringing to include those people that aren't getting paid to be there, that are very much affected by what you make. I hope you're somewhere where you're able to make more of a difference, and I wish you well. I wish you luck.